Hello, welcome to Chapter 6 in Business Math called Cash Purchases. Sorry, this is Lesson 6.1 called Sales Tax. So as always in all of these videos, I tell you make sure you read through the chapter, go through the lesson, understand the terminology, the concepts it's teaching you, look through the examples that they give you, and then come over to the worksheet here. Just jumping straight into the worksheet does not give you enough background information to understand what you're doing. And as we build through the chapter, it does get a bit more difficult as we go. And they expect you to go back and remember how to use this piece and manipulate it for the next piece. So make sure you're reading through the chapters and looking at the examples. All right. So at the top here, they always give us this little summary, basically, of the lesson. So many state, county, and city governments charge a sales tax on certain items or services that you buy. The sales tax rate is usually expressed as a percent and varies from state to state. Sorry, wanted to make sure the volume was on. Sales tax equals sales tax rate times total selling price. So here's our formula that we're going to use. Again, sometimes they don't give you everything you need for the formulas. They don't give you all of them. Or inside the formula, there might be something a little bit more difficult to do. They give you the term, but you need to know how to actually calculate that. So in this case, it's pretty simple. We're going to have a sales tax rate. We're going to have a total selling price. So a store in Detroit, Michigan advertised in HD TV for $1,224.95. What is the sales tax if the combined state and city rate is 6%? So we simply just take this amount here and multiply by 6%. And that will give us our total here. So pretty darn easy calculation there. Remember, when you do a percentage, you want to take the decimal here and jump it back twice on your for your decimal, or I'm going to open this guy up here. So I can put 6, and then if I hit my percent sign here, which at this point I think most calculators do have this, it'll move it for you. So then you can just do times $1,224.95, and it'll tell you how much your tax rate is. So this one, not too complicated. They get a little bit more complicated coming down here for number 3. So Takabaro purchased fishing gear from a store in Illinois where the tax rate is 6.25%. She purchased a spinning combo rod and reel for $59.99, so that's how much it was. 4 spinner baits at $5.49 each. So this is where it gets a little complicated. Not super complicated, but you have to pay attention to the wording. 3 lures at $3.89 each, and a landing net for $24.99. So I'm just going to underline the $24.99. So these two amounts are just flat rates. I can just add these two together. I don't have to worry about the multiplying, $24.99. I don't have to worry about multiplying these guys. But for my next piece of addition, I'm just going to write it down here. I need to make sure I'm paying attention to it's 4 of the spinner baits at $4.59 each. So I'm going to have to multiply that. And I did the addition here. It should be on the end, but writing a little big here. Plus, I also have 3 lures at $3.89 each. So I need to make sure I multiply this by 4 and add that number. I multiply this by 3 and I add that number. So pay attention to the wording there. That's the kind of complicated bit. So once you add all these together, you'll get your answer here, how much your total purchase is. And then once you know how much your total purchase is, you're going to multiply that by your 6.25%. So that's about as complicated as we get on this one. Really not too big a deal. You're just adding together your purchases. Make sure you pay attention. Is it a flat, this is just what I'm paying, like the $59.99, or am I paying each, like the $5.49 each, and I bought 4 of them, or she bought 4 of them. But you just need to pay attention to the wording on this one. But really, that's about as complicated as we get. Not too big a deal on that one. So let's take a look at the next page here. Same section, but it has 2 pages. So again, This guy is pretty much exactly the same here. You're going to go through and add up your total expenses for each piece they give you. And they do have a lot of the word each in here. So you just need to be paying attention for all of those and calculate how much am I actually paying for each item, or total for all of the items. And then you're going to multiply by 6.5% for state tax, and that's the first one, and then 1.4% for city. They're asking you to do it separately on this one. So instead of combining state and city tax like they did on the first page, they're separating out. They want you to calculate state tax and city tax. So make sure you do that separately. And remember, you need your total cost. So you're going to have to add up all of these pieces to get your total cost. All right, let's look down here at these tables because it's a little different looking. So this is just complete the following sales receipt. So these are all the pieces. These are all the things that you bought. You bought foil for $288, tissue for $183, aspirin for $359, and so on all the way down to the bottom here. So to get your subtotal, you simply just add. We're just going to add straight down. And then it's telling me that it's a 6% tax rate here. So I'm simply going to multiply what I get here by 6%. And that'll be my tax. And then we have to add those together again because you have to pay the tax. So we're just going to add our subtotal and the tax together, and that will give us our total purchase there. So we're going to do that for each one of these guys. Okay, that's the only difference between they're just giving you a table. To me, it's actually a little nicer in a table because I can just add straight down instead of having to kind of hunt through. They could have also, had more on here, like that you bought 2 tissues for $183 and had you do a little bit more calculation. In this case, they're just doing, 1 tissue, 1 foil, 1 probably bottle of aspirin. They're not having you calculate more than 1 of each. All righty. So I hope that helped, and I will see you in section 2.